Welcome back. Welcome to negative listed services. So, previously we were discussing the services relating to government, and we also know that there are 16 services which are in the negative list, and we also know how to mug up, how to learn. By now, we have already done it. Good morning. Start with good morning. GM, government and manufacture. Government, A, clause A, and manufacture is F, clause F. Manufacture, section 2F of Central Excise Act. Similarly, 2F. And then after good morning, you go for BARF, BARF and BARF. You know, B for banking, A for advertisement, R for RBI, and F for foreign diplomatic missions. And another BARF is betting, gambling, lottery, etc. And again, A stands for agriculture, R stands for renting of immovable property, F stands for funerals. BARF, and what else is left? Simply E2 and T4. E for education, E for electricity, K, clause K, kilowatts. And another E for education, that is under clause L, that is learning, KL. And what else? T4, T1, T2, T3, T4. 1T is trading, you know, E, clause E. And toll charges, that is H, clause H. And transport of persons and transport of passengers, transport of goods and transport of passengers, that is again O and P. So good morning GM, BARF, E2, T4. So I keep speaking this way so that you will remember it. Don't find it difficult. You find it very comfortable. What is important is you have to go into the details of what is written there, and you should be able to link up this mega negative list with mega exemption. That's it. Once you do it, your job is done. This covers a very good percentage, say 5 to 10 marks coverage, you can say. But if you take away negative list and mega exemption from service tax, what else is left? Nothing is left, right? So today what we are going to do is, so we did something about government services, and we have also seen this is linked up with mega exemption also. Services provided by government, it is there here. And services, what about services received by government? For that we have to look into various mega exemption entries. I have already told you, like mega exemption, like entry number 12, we have already seen it, entry number 12 and entry number 25, 20. So these we have to look into to find out the clear picture, final picture, because entry number 12, entry number 25, of course 39 is also there, but entry number 39 is about governmental authority. But don't be confused, government is different from governmental authority. For example, government has been defined in the act itself. So for the entire act and rules, etc., wherever it is there, the definition of government is applicable under clause 26A, section 65B. And governmental authority is different. That has been defined under mega exemption. For various purposes, governmental authority is the services they are getting exempt. So that's a different thing. Governmental authority is practically, it is performing the functions of municipal corporation or municipal authority, local authority functions, where government stake is 90% or more, whether in the form of equity or otherwise. And basically, it is constituted to perform the functions of local authorities. It means it is almost like a local authority, right? So you should know the difference between governmental authority and government. Government is pure government, central government, state government and union territories, nothing else and nothing more. And governmental authority, a body performing the functions of a local authority, where the government whatever with the government, state government or central government, whatever it is, the governments put together have a stake of 90% or more. Next to government, what is there? B, clause B is about RBI, services by RBI. So here RBI as a service provider. So don't look at as a service receiver, as a service provider. So where RBI is a service provider, all services, no exception, no relaxation, nothing. All services, all are non-taxable. No tax, no levy. Whatever be the services that the RBI may be providing, you don't need to consider. Okay? So obviously RBI doesn't have to get registered. And RBI has been specifically mentioned here because there are two reasons. One reason is it is not government actually. It's a body corporate, a separate entity. And number two, all services of RBI, they want to put under negative list. Because they wanted to put it under negative list, they wanted to keep it as a separate entry. Right? But what about services received by RBI? Sorry. Services received RBI as service receiver. Taxable. Because it is not service provider. It has nothing to do with untaxable, subject to, of course, other negative list. Maybe the service provider or a particular service is under negative list, then it is okay, subject to negative list under other entries or mega exemption. This we have to look into. Otherwise, it has to pay tax. And if you look at, let me recall, if you look at section 66F, clause 1, there is a very important principle of interpretation. What is that? It says, any service provided to complete a negative listed service or mega exemption service does not by itself is negative or exempt. RBI's services are exempt. But if RBI receives any service from anybody, that is not exempt. Service tax is payable. To that extent, they have given an explanation or say illustration in the last budget, say 2015. In the 2015 budget, the section 66F1 has some illustration. Parliament has added some illustration. What is it? It says banker to RBI. They have given an example. Banker is providing service to RBI. Taxable. It is not non-taxable. It is not otherwise exempt simply because RBI services are in the negative list. So RBI services are in the negative list, but where RBI is a service provider. Here RBI is a service provider. You are getting my point? But as a service receiver, RBI is liable to pay. It won't be affected. See, under excise, you remember, maybe you have studied a lot about excise. When your final product is exempt or non-excisable, does it mean that you will get SINVAT credit on inputs used in the final product, or you will get refund? No. If you get refund or if you get SINVAT credit, it is a case of zero tax. That is possible only in special cases like exports or deemed exports. In all other cases, any duty paid on input becomes a part of cost if it is used to produce exempted goods. Fully exempted goods are nil rated goods or non-accessible goods. You don't get it back as refund. Similarly here, RBI services are negative list, but somebody provides service to RBI, they don't get affected. Still, that is taxable. That becomes a part of cost. Here, RBI has to pay any service. Sometimes what happens, RBI receives some service which is in the under the negative list, reverse charge. Then RBI itself has to get it registered. RBI has to discharge the liability. See, RBI receives some services under reverse charge. So it has to pay. If it receives any service not in the negative list, not in the mega exemption, it has to pay. So RBI as a service receiver, it is taxable unless some exemption has been given. But under the negative list, there is no relief whatsoever. But under the mega exemption, there is some relief. What is that? Look at entry number 41. Entry number 41 of mega exemption. So under entry number 41 of mega exemption, services received by RBI, services received by RBI from abroad, outside India, with regard to forex management services. So if it receives any forex management related services from abroad, from outside India, it is exempt. Suppose it is not exempt, it is under reverse charge, it has to pay. Suppose RBI receives some service other than the forex management services, then suppose from Singapore RBI received some service which is not forex management related service. So there is no exemption. Because there is no exemption, here RBI has to pay. RBI has to pay under reverse charge because service is received from abroad. It is under reverse charge, and now RBI has to get itself registered under service tax, and it has to dispose of all the obligations as if it were a service provider. It has to get itself registered, it has to maintain records, it has to dispose the tax liability, it has to pay itself to the government, and it has to file returns. All the procedural formalities it has to follow. Okay, so remember, services by government except the few given in the list are exempt. Services provided by RBI means services are provided by RBI as a service provider in the capacity of a service provider, that is exempt. That is in the negative list. Okay, so then come to entry number 41. I think I have already explained to you. Let me read out the entry number 41. Entry number 41 says, entry number 41. Let me read out entry number 41. Services received by RBI from outside India. See, services received by RBI from outside India in relation to management of forex reserves. Forex management of forex reserves, management of forex reserves. So I put it this way: management of forex reserves. Management of forex reserves, because we have forex reserves, we maintain them. And with regard to the forex reserves, we take services even mostly from outside India. So whatever services RBI receives, here it has to, it doesn't have to pay any service tax because it is under mega exemption. Entry number 41. Remember entry number 41. When you talk about RBI, talk about entry number 41 also. Subject to this, all services received by RBI are exempt unless they are otherwise exempt, or unless they are otherwise falling under the mega exemption. RBI, in fact, RBI receiving services have no specific relaxation or relief, taxable. So this is about you can say. We can go for next page. Next, C, clause C. This is with regard to foreign diplomatic missions, FDM. Here the story is same. Foreign diplomatic missions, this is as a service provider. Here also by. By means is a service provider here. So non-taxable. Here also there is nothing. Here also no exceptions. All services provided by them. Because we have embassies. American embassy, British embassy, like that so many embassies are there. They are treated as very, very important persons, VIPs. And for them, whatever services they provide, visa related, birth certificate related, like that so many services, because somebody wants to visit America, he has to get visa. And somebody wants to do something there. There are so many things, so many activities that the foreign diplomatic missions are involved in. That is the reason why they open an office in another country. We also open offices in all other countries because we have so many services to do to our citizens outside and also to other citizens. Similarly, there may be American citizens in India and they may need some services from American embassy. Yes, it does it. And maybe some Indian or some other foreigner in India, he may need some services. A Korean, a Japanese may need some services from American embassy. They do. All services provided by foreign diplomatic missions, they are non-taxable without any exception. But remember, the foreign diplomatic missions are totally different from United Nations organizations, international agencies. They are different. These are embassies representing the government. They are independent by themselves. United Nations Organization, International Labour Organization, World Health Organization, they are different organs of United Nations Organization, International Monetary Fund, independent, World Bank, like this. These are called, say, international agencies. They are different and foreign diplomatic missions are different. Foreign diplomatic missions basically embassies representing various different countries situated or located in India. Okay? And what about the services received by, provided by? So services received, FDM, foreign diplomatic missions as service receiver. You see? So these are not in the negative list. Are they? No. But even if they receive some services, we don't want to collect taxes. So for that we have given a separate notification. Notification number 27 by 2012. So by virtue of this notification blanket, these services are exempted. These are not in the mega exemption list. They have been specified separately. So now we understand there are three services we have covered in the negative list. A, for services by government or local authority. Okay. Postal department, we have seen the exceptions. All services except those SPLA services provided by postal department. Speed post, express parcel post. P stands for express parcel post. L stands for life insurance. And A stands for agency services, like as a mutual fund agent or as agent collecting fees for a passport, etc. etc. So SPLA services and also aircraft vessel related services and transport related services we have seen now. So except those services, all other services provided by governmental authority or local authority are in the negative list. But remember, even the postal services are in the negative list if they are provided to a government, not local authority. So that's how we have seen. And also we have seen RBI services and we have seen foreign diplomatic missions. Now what else is there? ABC, they are priority areas. Status holders, these are having special status. That's why they have granted relief. They are under the negative list. So government, RBI and foreign diplomatic missions, that is the reason why they have put in their order ABC. That is one category, it is a class apart. And look at the other areas. Say for example, agriculture, D. It's a big one, of course, very important, and you will get practical questions also. Services relating to agriculture. Obviously, I have already given you the reasons. Agriculture. Why the services relating to agriculture under section 66D, DD. Very easy to remember. It is DD only. DD. So agriculture related services, why, what are the reasons? Number one, agriculture is a state subject. Even we don't impose income tax on agricultural income. You know that. Partly because it's a state subject and partly because it's a public policy. Government does not want to overburden the agricultural activity with taxation because somebody was saying this way, an agriculturist in India, an agriculturist who is a backbone of the country has no backbone at all. Ironical comment. An agriculturist who is the backbone of the country has no backbone at all. Really so. Even today, the farmers are the most neglected lot and they don't have facilities in many villages. Sometimes even road facilities, electricity facility, drinking water facility, very basic amenities. They are not available in many villages. And agriculture labor, unorganized sector, trade unions are there for industrial labor, even for shops and establishments. But what about agriculture labor? Agriculture labor, there is a lot of disguised unemployment. There is a lot of unemployment. And also, it's a seasonal activity. Throughout the year, there won't be any agricultural operations. The agricultural labor who are dependent on agriculture have only part-time. During the season, they work and the rest of the time, they don't have work to do. And of course, there is an exodus and there is a lot of flow from villages to cities and there is a lot of burden on cities, there is a lot of pollution. Because of this exodus, people are leaving clean to urban areas because there is some employment opportunity, that too on daily basis. Because the empty stomach always wants food on a daily basis, whether you work or not, whether you earn or not. That's the reason why. So this is also in the lines of public interest. Government can't afford to impose taxes on agricultural operations. That's the reason why they have done it. But what they have done, agricultural operations can be divided into operations for primary market to make the product meant for primary market and secondary market. It's not a share market. So in share bazaar also we use the language primary market and secondary market. For agriculture also we have primary market and secondary market. Up to a product, agricultural produce up to the primary market, they have given relaxation. They have put under negative list. And for secondary market, they are out of negative list, but in some cases, for certain activities, they have provided exemption under Mega Exemption list. So we have to read it comprehensively. What is there in the Mega Exemption list and what is there under the exemption. So agricultural operations, I have told you already, primary market and goods, produce, agricultural produce meant for primary market, negative list. I write it here anyway. Agricultural produce, I put it as agriculture produce. Prepared and meant for primary market. You see, this is primary market. This is negative list. Mostly. And what about good produce meant for secondary market? Goods produce meant for secondary market, taxable unless exempted otherwise. Exempted mostly, you can say exempted under mega exemption. If you don't find any particular activity under mega exemption, that is automatically taxable. Now the question may arise, what is primary market? What is secondary market? This you have to understand. There is a concept. Say for example, agriculturist, there are 2-3 tests. Say for example, cultivator you say, or agriculturist. He does mostly in many a case, he does the operations mostly to make them to make his produce saleable, to make the produce saleable, like washing, like cleaning, like drying. For example, tobacco leaves are cut off and they are put in a garland, like they will put in a row with the thread or something like that inside, just like a garland, and they will put under the sun. So that is drying of tobacco leaves. That is done by agriculturist. So after drying, he will be able to sell. Without that, he will not be able to sell. He has to do that. Cashew, you know cashew, Cashew, cashew. So he will pluck from the tree, remove the fruit, and inside the nut portion he will take out. And maybe sometimes he will do some process and he will clean it, and then, or sometimes he will remove the cashew inside and he will put them in the market. So whatever the agriculturalist does, just like that jute, they cut off, they remove, they soak in waters, they will put in a water, the jute they will put in water and it will bubble up, and they remove what you can say coir like thing from that and they sell. So what agriculture is, similarly wheat, rice, not rice, wheat, or you can say paddy. So whatever the agriculturist does, make the product saleable. That is agricultural produce meant for primary market. So in this category, you can say paddy, sugarcane. For sugarcane also dressing has to be done. It has to be cut off, sizing and selling. Or you can say wheat, tobacco, drying, after drying tobacco leaves, coir part of jute, etc. These are primary. Why? Because after undertaking all these process, only the farmer, the cultivator will be able to sell them. That is called primary market. What about secondary market? This is an agricultural produce, and moreover, he does to make them saleable. And in this case, the produce doesn't alter its characteristics or features. It doesn't change. It doesn't have any change of the features. Features are same. If transformation is there, some features, there is a change in feature, just as we talk about manufacture, something like that, then it is not an agricultural produce for primary market. That is a product of secondary market. Say for example, paddy is an agricultural produce for primary market. From paddy, suppose you bring out rice. Rice is a milling operation. Through milling operations, rice is made. So that is an operation meant to make the product meant for secondary market. Similarly, wheat flour, atta, suji, that is meant for secondary market. Okay, and sugarcane is a produce of primary market, but sugar, it's not. It's meant for secondary market. So the idea of the government is any product which is meant for primary market, where operations are mostly done by the cultivator, the agriculturist, they are under the negative list. All else, what else? Everything else is, particularly those meant for secondary market, where some manufacturing or processing is done outside the ambit of agriculture. They say this is not, this is taxable and we want to collect tax, subject to few exemptions. So first thing you have to understand this agricultural produce meant for primary market they give, and they have given clean sheet to all agricultural operations, even anything supporting all agricultural operations. So let me tell you, in agriculture operations to produce something, they have put under all agriculture operations to produce something through cultivation or other means, that is totally under the negative list. And also laborers, I'll give you anyway, I'll give you the proper order. So operations, and to conduct these operations you need labor. Say, let me put it like this: services relating to, what are the services? I'll present in a presentable form first and then I will explain. Services related to agriculture or agricultural produces. Services related to. S stands for services. So, services relating to. Okay. Services relating to. One is agriculture. And agricultural produce. So services relating to agriculture or agricultural produce. These two are covered. Okay, agriculture or agriculture produce. And then what are the activities? Because activity is the service. What are the activities which have been put under the negative list? Number one is, all operations. Agricultural operations, obviously, cultivation, tilling, digging, weeding, so many activities are there. They have given the list. I'll read out anyway for your benefit. So all agricultural operations. So to conduct these agricultural operations, we need labor also. So supply of labor, farm labor. So when the agricultural operations are in the negative list and labor required to conduct the agricultural operations, they are also, so supply of farm labor. They have specifically mentioned farm labor, supply of labor, because labor is required, that is also in the negative list. And some process, not only operations, the agricultural operations at the starting level and in due course in the process of getting the crop or the produce. So there will be some processes, maybe some processes involved. So all the process involved in bringing out the agricultural produce, that again put. So operations, labor and processes, and also renting, maybe sometimes renting activity. So what do you mean by renting here? Maybe you are giving on rent or you are taking on rent. When activity is renting, whether it is giving or taking, that is under the negative list. If it is for agricultural operations, say for example, you have a vacant land, given or taken on rent, immovable property, or with a shed, some construction, or you have given it for even storage. Later on we find that. Or agriculture agro machinery equipment. So when you talk about agro machinery equipment on rent, means now even if you use a tractor, engage a tractor, or you rent a tractor or rent out a tractor, because tilling operations, tractor does some agricultural operations, so that falls under agriculture machinery, agro machinery. Okay, that is in the negative list. Renting, and also for storage, loading, unloading. See, the agriculture produce may be requiring, what we can say, loading, unloading, and even storage, etc. Warehousing, you may happen to keep them in a warehouse. If it happens to be an agricultural produce, yes, it is covered here. And look at this agriculture services, supporting services. They have mentioned some supporting services also. So to deal with agriculture or agricultural operations, there are some services which are supporting in nature. For example, they say agricultural extension committee, agricultural extension services. Say they give knowledge, how to use a seed, how to cultivate, what precautions one has to take. There are so many organizations, private, public, state government organizations, etc. So agriculture extension services and marketing services, for example. So for marketing, the agriculture extension services are giving knowledge. Here, APMC, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee. Everything has been defined here. Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee. These people will enable you, these organizations will help you get the market. Where do you sell the product? Where you get the good price? They will explore all the possibilities and advise you from time to time. They will help you even in selling your produce. For example, tobacco board is there. They do help. So this includes boards also, like coffee board, tea board. So plus agency services. Agency services for buying and selling. For buying or selling your agricultural produce. But it should be confined to agricultural produce only. So goods meant for primary market, not for secondary market. That you should know. So these are the services, agricultural operations and engagement of labor, farm labor and agriculture processes other than operations. Operations are basically primary level. And during or after the produce, after the crop, there may be some processes, but mostly done at the site. Sometimes exceptionally, the farmer may take it to his place and do, but mostly they are done there itself. And in education guide, government also has given relaxation saying that jaggery, good, that is, they have categorized, they have put it under primary market produce list. If you manufacture sugar, it is okay, not under the negative list. If you manufacture jaggery, good, then it is product of primary market. Maybe the operations are done elsewhere, not at the agriculture site or on the farmland. So renting, including agriculture machinery, land, building, storage facilities with the loading, unloading, etc. and other supporting services. So you know supporting services, Agriculture Extension Committee, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee, Board, etc. and agency. You engage some agent for buying and selling your agriculture produce. So for buying and selling, all these things. These are basically under the negative list. So very simple. You found it simple, easy, but in fact that is not. It is not that easy. So why? First of all, what is agriculture? You have to define. You have to understand what is agriculture, and again, what is agriculture produce. So both we find definitions under section 65B 44. Say agriculture and agriculture produce. We have got the definition under clause 3 and also clause 5 and also others. So that those things we have to understand. Agriculture produce. What do you mean by agriculture produce? So let me do that. Agriculture has two parts. By definition, agriculture means here cultivation of plants, etc. and rearing of animals. See, in this definition particularly, this is a very important part. Rearing of animals. But out of the rearing of animals, except horses. Because horses are hardly used for agricultural operations. They are meant for something different. Okay? So, herds, stable, or any activity relating to horses, it is not falling under agriculture, and it falls under non-agriculture category. Non-agriculture category, and the maybe for a fodder, but the purpose they have also mentioned the purpose. Let me read out the definition. So the definition says agriculture under 65B. All definitions are under section 65B. Under section 65B, it is clause 3, which deals with agriculture. So it simply says it means the cultivation of plants and rearing of life forms of animals. Life forms of animals means living, except the rearing of horses. It may be for food. See, agriculture or rearing of animals may be for food, fiber, fuel, raw material, or other similar products. Purpose may be anything. So here, rearing of land, cultivation of plants and rearing of animals. The question is, horses are not, but what about the birds? It's a big question mark. Whether birds are animals, but in many laws in India, you find when they talk about animals, any reference made to animals is said to have referred to birds also. See, under interpretation, when we talk about interpretation of law, expressio exclusio alter res rule is there. Expressio exclusio alter res rule says anything which has not been specified is said to be excluded deliberately. If they really meant it so, they would have mentioned it, so they have not mentioned. But there is an exception. Maybe sometimes by error of omission, they might have omitted, the lawmakers might have omitted, but they mean it so. Then we have to include. But what type of interpretation we have to take, there is no clue, there is no guidance. But if you apply literal construction principle, animals are not birds. You can't say, for example, there is a dairy farm that is relating to animals. Suppose there is a poultry farm. The poultry farm specifically is meant for birds. The poultry, they are birds, not animals. So what to do with this? And others are also there. There are other types of birds which are also raised. So if you ask me, I say these are not covered because they have not been expressly mentioned. They would have mentioned animals and birds, but they simply mentioned all life forms of animals. They did not say anything about the birds, so I don't take it. It is up to you. If you get it in the examination, you have to write a footnote. For example, poultry farms. So I don't consider. But you may consider, write a footnote. But in, I think, institutes study module, or you can say practice manual. Okay, so practice manual. They mentioned, I think they have considered for poultry as a part of agriculture, but I don't have to. It is up to you. Okay, so what is agriculture? It is clear now. It is relating to plants and animals, activity connected with them, surrounded them. And what about agricultural produce? So we need to look into the definition. Agriculture produce, production. that is under section 65B clause 5. So I read out the definition, you will find easily understandable. Agricultural produce means any produce of agriculture. Any produce of agriculture means it is emanating from agriculture, it is coming out of agriculture. It is as a result of agriculture or agricultural operations. Any produce of agriculture on which either no further processing is done, further process is not done, or such processing is done as is usually done by a cultivator or a producer, which doesn't alter its essential characteristics but makes it marketable for primary market. So it is basically the operations are done by agriculturist, it is out of agriculture, it is done by cultivator normally, not machining process, that are not normally done by cultivator, and doesn't alter what we can say, its characteristics, its features. There is no change in their features. Jute is jute, sugarcane is sugarcane, tobacco is tobacco. So doesn't alter its characteristics and normally meant for primary market, not for secondary market. So if all these features are available, you can say this is an agricultural produce. Okay. So if it is an agricultural produce, or if it is what we can say, let me go back to the earlier pages. Come here. Agricultural operations. So the operations relating to agricultural produce or agriculture, if the operations are there, they fall under the list. Okay. So it's necessary to read out. What do you mean by operations? What type of operations they are talking about? So they are talking about operations like, read out the operations directly related to production. Operations, they must be directly related to production of any agricultural produce. Because of this, some agricultural produce is coming out, including cultivation. They talk about cultivation and harvesting, threshing, plant protection or testing. So I write here testing. So what is testing? All types of testing. Earlier it was seed testing. Only for seed testing the benefit was available. Now all types of testing, even soil testing, even final produce testing, any type of testing is now, if it is directly related to agricultural operations, then it is covered under negative list now. So be careful when you get a question, practical question. All types of testing in agricultural operations, yes, they are falling under the negative list. And labor, what type of labor? Second one, what type of labor they are talking about? They are talking about labor, say supply of farm labor. It should be farm labor. Services relating to supply. Somebody provides labor contractor, and he charges some amount. It is in the negative list because it's a farm labor. So farm labor here covers, farm here means any activity relating to animals also. For example, dairy farm. For dairy farm, if you engage labor, if somebody provides labor, that is non-taxable. Farm labor. They clearly mentioned farm labor. And similarly, supply of farm labor and also processes carried out at an agriculture farm. Normally, at an agriculture farm, some operations are taking place. So including tending, pruning, cutting, harvesting, drying, cleaning, trimming, sun drying, fumigating, curing, sorting, grading, etc., which do not alter, they say, which do not alter the essential characteristics of agricultural produce, but make it only marketable for the primary market. To make them fit for primary market, whatever operations you do at the agriculture farm area, that is covered. And renting. What type of renting I already told you. So renting or leasing of agro machinery, vacant land with or without structure incidental to its use. That is covered. And storage. What about storage? What do you mean by storage here? Storage here is loading. See what are the things covered. Loading, unloading, packing, storage or warehousing of agriculture produce. AP, agriculture produce. If it is other than agriculture produce, for example, gehu, wheat, it is okay. Suppose it is wheat flour, no. Paddy is okay because it is agriculture produce. If it is rice, sorry. Of course, mega exemption is there. Mega exemption is there to take care of that. We have to look into that also. But primarily it is in the negative list only if it is an agriculture produce. If the storage, loading, unloading, packing is for agricultural produce. But what about transport? Sorry, transport is not covered here. Agriculture produce is transported. It is not in the negative list. Nothing to worry. That is covered under mega exemption. Transport is covered under mega exemption. Cotton bales, rice, etc. Transport, that is covered under mega exemption. Subject to mega exemption. Next, agriculture extension services. So agricultural extension services, whatever information or knowledge is given to improve the quality of operations or cultivation, etc., they are covered under the negative list. And they have also in fact defined what do you mean by agriculture extension services. So agriculture extension has been defined under say 465B clause 4, agricultural extension. There is a definition. So let me read out the definition to give you an idea. Agricultural extension here means application of scientific research and knowledge. It is application of scientific research and knowledge to agricultural practices through farmer education or training. Through farmer education and training. Whatever training is conducted, that is covered. For example, some conference, some hall is rented, meeting hall is rented to conduct a meeting to give training to the farmers. That is in the negative list. Suppose it is conducted to conduct a marriage for agriculturists. In the family of agriculturists, there is a marriage function or some function, some meeting not connected with political meeting. Maybe renting of vacant land or agricultural land. Land is agriculture, but we have let it out for conducting a political meeting. So it has nothing to do with agricultural operations. So that is taxable. So these agriculture extension services, supporting services, giving knowledge or giving training to farmers, that is also covered under exemption. And APMC board, APMC or board, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee or board, that has also been defined under 6 clause 6. So Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee or board, that has been defined, means any committee or board constituted under a state law for the time being in force, because it is constituted under state law because agriculture is basically a state subject under Constitution of India. So by state, and for the time being in force for the purpose of regulating the marketing of agriculture produce. For the purpose of marketing of agriculture produce. And in the negative list, even services, agency services are covered. So look at this. Look at the entire gamut like this. This is agriculture operations. And let me recall, let me remind you, let me relate. Here there is a list. How many are there? Say operations, labor, process, renting, say numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 and 8. Like this, there is a list of operations. 7, of course, there is a list here. Okay. So there is a list of services, 7 services altogether. These are under one. So these 7 services are under the negative list. What do you mean by others? What about others? They have here given the list of services which are under the negative category. Means what about others? All others are taxable except those provided here. Naturally, they have restricted it to primary level operations, primary basic agricultural operations and matters connected therewith. All other things are taxable. This is a positive list of negative services. If you look at government, what is taxable they have given? The list is small, means all others are under the negative list. Postal services, limited postal services, plus aircraft and vessel related services and transportation services. So except these services, what else is provided by government, that is under the negative list. So the positive list, taxable services list is small under the category of government, whereas under the category of agriculture, the negative listed services list is small and all other positive list taxable services list is very big. Whatever be the list that is small, that is given here, they have given this list. The non-taxable services list is small here, whereas under the government the taxable services list is small, so they have given there. That is the difference. And now what else we have to see? We have to correlate or relate this to mega exemption. Is there anything exempt? Yes, we have to look into the mega exemption category also. Mega exemption. What are the things under mega exemption? If you look at mega exemption, look at 30, entry number 30A, relating to job work. So relating to job work, it is exempt. You have to look into this. You have to necessarily look into job work, agricultural operations as a job worker. Suppose you are a job worker, you are doing some carrying out operations. Let me write it here. What are they? Carrying out an intermediate process. Carrying out. Carrying out an intermediate process. So intermediate process, not for final product. Intermediate production process. Of course, this is production process. Production process as job work in relation to, as job work in relation to agriculture. Of course, other things are also there. For example, printing or textile processing. Printing and textile processing these two are not relevant for agriculture, but this is agriculture. So some intermediate process is done with regard to agriculture produce, then it is under exemption. So a job work is exempt, which means your intermediate production process has job work in relation to agriculture. If it is in relation to agriculture, that is exempt. And what about others? Say, look at entry number 40. Entry number 40, 44, and entry number 20 and 21. Entry number 20 and 21. These are relating to transport. There are certain categories which have been given under mega exemption. Entry number 40 is also there. 40 is about loading, or storage, warehousing, etc. And here not necessarily agricultural produce, it may be something different. See, loading of agricultural produce or storage of agricultural produce is already under the negative list. What else is there? Other than agricultural produce, maybe goods meant for secondary market like rice, cotton, etc. They have given loading, storage, etc. And 44 is about loading. 44 is about ripening recent. This is the latest one. You have to read carefully. Ripening, waxing of fruits, etc. Waxing of fruits, vegetables, etc. Fruits and vegetables. Ripening, waxing, packing, etc. products. Fruits. 44, this is latest. Earlier it was not there. So 30A we have already discussed, and 40, 40, 44 and 20, 21. Now let us finish 40, 41. So what is there in 40, 41? So put it agriculture in a readable form. Agriculture related which are there in mega exemption. One is job work, that is under entry number 30C. Another one is entry number 21. 20, entry number 21. Both are meant for transport. 2021, of course, important also. 40, entry number 40 and entry number 44. This is about a new entry, important, more important, ripening, waxing, etc. of fruits, vegetables. And then 40 is about storage, loading, etc. Loading, storage, etc. What type of storage we have to see from the entry? You have to be clear, because you get practical questions on this. So where you get practical questions, you have to be very careful. You have to read each and every line carefully. So in the material, the mega exemption list in entirety, totally it has been given. You have to read. And sometimes you have to read in between lines. Okay, 2021, I have already told you transport. You have to see job work, 30C, intermediate production process relating to agriculture, in relation to agriculture related. Okay, agriculture related. And agro machinery, say process of any goods excluding, alcoholic liquors, etc. What about entry number 20 and 21? So important, very important, because there is a list. Entry number 20, 21. You see, let me read out that. Entry number 20. Services by way of transportation by rail or vessel from one place in India to another of the following goods. Means transport within India. It is talking about India. And number 2, entry number 22 is talking about transport by rail or vessel. Vessel means ship, but internal. So what are they? They have given so many things like relief materials for victims of natural disasters, defense military equipment that is given, not connected with agriculture. But anyway, what is wrong? Let me read out. Earlier, postal or mail bags and household effects were there. Now they are taxable. Now, postal, mail or household effects are taxable. Earlier, they were under mega exemption. If they were carried by rail or vessel, now taxable. But in newspapers, magazines, still mega exemption is there. Railway equipment and material, if they carry, still mega exemption is there. Then important is part H, that is relating to agricultural produce. AP, I call it AP, agricultural produce. You know the definition. What is agricultural produce? Given under section 65B, clause 5. So, if you transport agricultural produce meant for primary market, you know, agricultural produce, by rail or vessel, no service tax. Okay? And incidentally, they have given not only agricultural produce and also others like milk, salt. Remember these words. I am writing deliberately, clearly, specifically to enable you to read and reread and remember. And food grains. Earlier, they were using the word foodstuffs. So even sweets are foodstuffs. Any preparations are foodstuffs. Mungfali masala mazedar is also foodstuff. It is not covered here. They have restricted this. So they say only food grains, including flours. For example, they have given flours, pulses, just like wheat, suji, they are covered here. Pulses, they are covered. And rice. They have clearly mentioned. So you can't go beyond this. Now foodstuffs are not covered under the mega exemption. Only food grains, flours, pulses and rice are covered. And plus, of course, they are talking about chemical fertilizers, organic manure and oil cakes. We have nothing to do with agriculture, but they are also there. And cotton, ginned or baled. So cotton, ginned or baled, you know, in bales, boxes or bags, they are put in. Ginned means the seeds, everything they remove and they make it fresh by removing seeds, etc. That is ginned. Ginning, pressing, baling, these are all processes. So obviously government thought that cotton is not a product meant for agriculture primary process. If it is an agricultural produce, it is already covered there under negative list. But they have specifically mentioned in the mega exemption means cotton, ginned cotton or baled cotton. Raw cotton is an agricultural produce. It has to be taken care of. It has to be understood. But if it is ginned cotton, ginned, pressed or baled cotton means it is meant for secondary market. Probably they thought it so. So they put under negative list. So this is also a part of agriculture. And floors, etc. For cotton, gilt, etc. This is under clause K. So clause H and clause K are covered under entry number 20 relating to agriculture. And what about 21? This 21 actually meant for GTA, goods transport agent service. You know, when you talk about goods transport agent services, these are necessarily transport of goods by road. No rail, nothing. Because you know, general transport is under negative list. But if it is through GTA, it is taxable. But subject to exemptions given here. GTA services, you know, is acting as a broker. He is a mediator for somebody who wants to transport goods and by road, and somebody who wants to avail the transport services of goods. He is a mediator, broker. So he says, by way of transport in a goods carriage of agricultural produce. First one, agricultural produce. Similarly, you see, under A, clause A, entry number 21, agricultural produce. So transport of goods, transport of agricultural produce, but with the help of goods transport agent, means the goods are on road and you are availing the services of goods transport agent, still it is under exemption. If the goods are agricultural produce, paddy, etc., etc., paddy, gehu, etc., it should be agricultural produce. And what about produce goods meant for secondary market? They have given D, under D, clause D, 21, entry number 21, they have given a list. What is the list? Similar, just like milk, salt, etc., already given, and food grains, and including, rice, pulses. Rice specifically mentioned, rice was under controversy, but afterwards they added, because there was a representation from different parts of South India and other parts of India and even Punjab. So rice they have put under mega exemption because it was not under the negative listed. So similarly, cotton from Western India and also South, cotton when it is in baled form, cotton bales, or ginned form, if it is transported through GTA, goods transport agent, it is. So you find entry number 20 and 21 similar, but the only thing is they are under different clauses. Clause H, agricultural produce, here it is clause H. Clause A, agricultural produce, it is by rail or vessel, it is by GTA. So whether it is by GTA or rail, these things are, you have to remember. See, you have to remember, how do I say, you have to learn properly. You can't afford to miss even a single thing, because on rice and cotton bales they are asking the questions. What about foodstuffs? Now foodstuffs are not covered. Only to this extent they are covered. Earlier foodstuffs were covered. Okay, and other exemption are also there, that is not to be considered here. So as far as agriculture and agricultural products are concerned, entry number 20, 21 are relevant. And what about entry number 40? So entry number 40 is about loading, unloading, etc. So loading, already agricultural produce, if it is agricultural produce, that is having an advantage, it is under negative list. If it is not under negative list, then you see under entry number 40. Let me read the text of entry number 40. I read out: services by way of loading, unloading, loading, unloading, packing. There is a case of packing also. Packing, storage or warehousing, even warehousing of what? Warehousing of rice, cotton, ginned or baled, same, ginned cotton or baled cotton. So for rice and cotton, ginned cotton or baled cotton, their packing, their storage, their loading, unloading, and their transport, they transport by rail or vessel, or their transport by GTA, exempt. So remember this. This is not in the negative list, but at the same time it's falling under exemption. You remember this very carefully. So whenever you read about agriculture, you have to read entry numbers 20, 21, 40, 44, and recently they have added 44 also. So if 44 is vegetables, their packing, retail pack, they may be put in a retail pack, retail packing, and ripening, and waxing, and they say preconditioning, cooling, preconditioning, cooling, okay, pre-cooling, ripening, waxing, retail packing, labeling of what? Fruits and vegetables. If you do it on fruits or vegetables, this is covered under the mega exemption, entry number 44. This is not under negative list, but it is under mega exemption. But the effect is taxable, but it is exempt. Okay, so agriculture part D has all these implications, and based on this you will get practical questions also. You can always expect some practical question based on job work or based on agricultural operations. So I have given some practical questions also. I have practical questions solved also. These questions you have to. We can also discuss some questions. Okay, so let me have that. And question number 1. On agriculture. I say agriculture farm labor, supply of farm labor. Is it negative list or not? Yes. Non-taxable. And similarly, if I say warehousing of say paddy, rice, biscuits, which is in the negative list, which is in the mega exemption, which is not there. Paddy, it comes under negative list. Say negative list, and I say mega exemption, and none. None means taxable. So paddy is in the warehousing of paddy, it is covered under the negative list, you know. And what about rice? It is not covered here, but it is covered in mega exemption. So warehousing, entry number, do you recall entry number? Entry number 40. Yes. So here it is, yes. What about biscuits? It is not here. It is not here. So it is here. So taxable. You have to practice also that way. Say for example, training of farm labor. I am talking about training of farm labor. So whether it is covered on seeds, pesticides, etc. Training of farm labor. So say for dairy farm, and at the same time training of labor, say poultry farm. And say pisciculture, fish, etc., fish ponds, etc. So as per the education guide, these are all covering. So dairy farm, yes. Poultry farm, no. Taxable, because I don't interpret that poultry farm will be falling under agriculture. So pisciculture, yes, it is in the negative list. Fish pond, etc. So when you give training to labor, farm labor, it is covered provided that it is not relating to poultry farm. So similarly, training of labor with regard to herds, horse riding, no, it is taxable. Herds, stable, renting a vacant land for horse rearing or for horse riding, training, no, because anything relating to horse, it is in the taxable area, it is not in the negative list. And similarly, leasing a vacant land to a dairy farm, yes. Leasing a vacant land for conducting a political meeting, no. For conducting a trade union meeting, no. So like that. Commission earned on commission. This is also very important. Commission on some commission agent you appointed on sale of paddy or say gehu, what we can say, wheat and wheat flour, say atta, suji, and also rice. Now tell me whether it is in the negative list. Wheat, yes, because it is agriculture produce. Okay, and what about wheat flour? It is not here. And rice, it is not here. And commission is not covered elsewhere also. So not here, not here. So this is taxable. And suppose it is not commission, it is a transport in India of wheat, wheat flour and rice. Then what is your answer? If it is wheat, it is in the negative list. Already packing, repacking. Of course, if it is transport, it is not there. Transport of wheat, no doubt, it is in the mega exemption. And if it is warehousing or storage, yes, storage or warehousing is of wheat is in the negative list. Transport is not there, but transport of wheat or wheat flour or rice, it is there in the mega exemption. So rice, it is transport of rice is in mega exemption, and even GTA transport is in the mega exemption. Transport by rail or transport by vessel is in the mega exemption. So like this you have to analyze, you have to see. Okay, and similarly, let me see some other. Sunflower oil. Sunflower, if you have a warehousing facility or storage, it is okay. But if it is sunflower oil, sorry, that is taxable. And similarly, sale of cotton seeds on commission basis. So sale of cotton seeds, I don't think they are agricultural produce, but you have to write a footnote. So it is sale and on commission basis, it is not even covered under the mega exemption. It is not agricultural produce, cotton seeds. So cotton seeds are, I consider, not of primary market, it is for secondary market. So it is not even covered under mega exemption, so it is taxable. Like that you have to form an idea. Similarly, renting of trucks on hire for laying the road to agriculture land. For laying roads there is nothing in the mega exemption or negative list, but only public road. If there is a public road, that is under mega exemption. Laying a public road is there. So look at entry number 12, 13, etc. Okay, look at entry number 13, you will get it. But if it is not a public road, sorry, not covered. Leasing of vacant land to a stud farm. Stud means horses. Stud farm. Sorry, it is not covered, not even under mega exemption. So it is taxable. Dehusking of paddy, very important. Such questions may ask because it is in the practice manual. Dehusking of paddy to make it rice into rice. So you are converting paddy into rice and you are dehusking paddy in rice mill on job work basis. Then tell me, if it is on job work basis, what happens? So this is under mega exemption. Maybe you remember. Entry number 30, 30A, na? Starting 30A. Agricultural produce, job work in production process relating to agriculture produce. That is okay. So like this we will get questions on agriculture and you should be able to do it, you should be able to relate. So you have to remember 7 services agriculture related, These are under the negative list and the rest are not. They have given the positive list of negative services relating to agriculture, and these are to be related to mega exemption. So in mega exemption we found job work entry 30A. 2021 we have seen transport by rail or vessel means entry number 30 mega exemption. Entry number 21 is about goods transport by GTA, goods transport agent, entry number 21, and again 40, and very important 44 ripening, cooling, pre-cooling, pre-conditioning, packing, retail packing or waxing of fruits and vegetables. Entry number 44, latest that you have to remember. And you should also remember that foodstuffs, earlier foodstuffs were under mega exemption, entry number 2021. Now foodstuffs are not covered. What is covered is food grains, they are covered. Milk, salt, they are very particular about the list. Milk, salt, rice, food grains including flours, and cotton in ginned form or baled form, called ginned cotton and baled cotton. So got it? So with this we complete this particular service which is in the negative list. And what about other services? See, A, B, C, D we have completed. A stands for government, B stands for RBI, C stands for foreign diplomatic missions. Section 66D E for trading. There are 4 T's, T1, T2, T3, T4. This is trading. And F stands for manufacture. In manufacture, this is rather more important. Trading of what? Trading of goods, trading of securities, even forward contracts, speculation, shares, and also you can say commodities, copper, gold, silver, pulses, etc. There is forward contracts on speculation basis. You buy without taking delivery and you settle at a particular future date. These are called futures, derivatives, futures, commodity transactions. Even though you are not taking deliveries, and securities already. Security transactions, forward contracts, future contracts, all these fall under this category. Even commercial papers, all these things. So commercial papers are transaction only in money. So trading practically means buying and selling. If some buying or selling is involved, that is in the negative list, because in buying and selling, either it is covered by state subject or it is some tax is collected on that. Say for example, Securities Contract Regulation Act is there. Securities contract tax is there. And for sale of goods, sales tax is there. And for forward contracts also, some security transaction is there. Already some taxes are being collected on them. So that is, government does not want to treat it as a service. Because it doesn't want to treat it as a service, it doesn't want to collect tax. So trading activity practically has been kept out of service. And remember, what comes under trading, what doesn't come under trading, you should be very careful. Not only the physical dealing of buying and selling, but also forward contracts, security contracts, derivatives, all these come under this category. Okay. What about manufacture? I consider this as very, very important, because all types of manufacture under state level or central level. For example, toiletry products, toilet preparations. So the toilet preparations, the subject matter is, of course, central government will collect the amount, and on these toiletry products, the amount will go to state governments. It is state government's revenue. And in state level, you can say state excise, liquor, opium, narcotics and narcotic drugs. These under state subject. Whether it is under state subject or central subject, the manufacturing activity is not covered under services. So it is in the negative list because central level, say for example, central excise and other taxes are also there on manufacturing activity. So excise duty is payable. Sometimes the goods may be exempt. Because they are subject matter of excise, they don't want to collect any service tax on that. But what about liquor? Recently they have made an amendment. What is the amendment they have made? They say except alcohol for human consumption. Means if it is alcohol for human consumption, it is taxable. No, earlier it was not. So, which means on alcohol for human consumption, state governments already impose state excise, and at the same time, central government also imposes service tax now. So it doesn't want to double taxation. It is there, central and state both. Its own wish and will. Central government can do anything, everything like that. Tax law, taxing authorities can do anything and everything they like. On any pretext they can impose a tax. So now they are opening it. Now they will impose service tax on alcohol related activity also. Like in portable liquor, means for drinking purpose. Alcohol for human consumption. But with this, they have also removed from mega exemption job work. Job work relating to, say, entry number 30, job work. Entry number 30, part C. So, under this job work relating to alcohol for human consumption, it is taxable now. Earlier it was under mega exemption, now it is taxable. Okay? So you have to be very careful about this when you talk about manufacture. So alcohol for human consumption is not covered under. So E, 66D, 66D and E. It's very easy and very simple. E and F. And what about other service, other under the mega exemption? What about G? Section 66D, G. What about G? G is about advertisement. Say, here also, government is very particular about section 66D clause G. This is about advertisement. What is there now to see? All ads, whether it is on internet, whether it is above the earth, into the sky, whether it is radio, whether it is TV, whether it is anything, any media, by any means, all advertisements are now taxable. So government's income increased manifold because of this. All advertisements are taxable now, except those in print media. Except those in print media. So what do you mean by the print media? They have given a clear explanation to what is print media. They say newspapers and they say magazines, periodicals, India Today, like that. Simple print media, but not. What is not print media? Except yellow pages. In yellow pages there will be addresses, no? Addresses, it is for commercial, this thing. and business directories or trade directories which are used for commercial purpose. So let me read out that definition also, you'll be getting a clear picture. The print media has been defined. Where was it defined, print media? Recently, they have made this advertisement, all types of advertisement activities taxable except those in print media. So for print media, 39A, section 65B, 39A, they say means book. It means book. A book is a print media. If you have any advertisement, suppose you give some advertisement to scanner, no service tax. Book as defined under so and so act, Registration of Books Act. And next, newspaper. Next, what is not a book? Business directories, yellow pages and trade catalogs used for commercial purpose. Service tax is payable on advertising in yellow pages. So those who are publishing the yellow pages, they will be at a loss because they find it difficult to get advertisements because service tax is being imposed. Depends. So many factors are there. And next, newspaper. Newspaper has registered just like Hindustan Times, Times of India, Indian Express, The Hindu, like that. Deccan Chronicle. Newspaper as defined under the Press and Registration of Books Act. Books and newspapers are under the negative list except these two. All other advertisements, you name it and you have it. Earlier so many types of advertisements were under the negative list. Now only newspaper and books are under the negative list. That too, trade catalog, yellow pages and business directories are not considered to be books by the further definition. So service tax is still payable on them. Got it? So what are the services that you have been discussing and we have discussed so far? A, B, C, D, E, F, G.